Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to my channel. On today's video, I'm just going to be kind of giving you a little tour of our feeding pump that we use for Wynn's feeds. We start every morning by getting rid of the old pump with the old formula in there, getting a new pump bag, opening it up. This is kind of the tedious part of our morning. So the biggest thing, you want to make sure that you're pulling open that bag. Otherwise, as soon as you start pouring formula into it or milk into it, it's going to splash back at you and ruin your whole morning. So it's best to pull that open before you even start. We use Nutrin Junior because that's what's recommended by his doctors. Usually shake it up. This one was left over from last night, so it's been in the fridge. And something I forgot about when they're in the fridge like this is it's really slow to prime it through the tubing. So just keep that in mind. It's not that something's like clogging anything, it's just that the cold for some reason. I don't know if it makes the formula thicker, but it just seems to slow it down when it's going through the tubing. Okay, it took me way longer than it ever has in my life to untangle that cord. So I finally got it untangled there. And then the next thing you want to do is make sure the cap is off on the end. Otherwise the pressure from the formula flowing through the tubing is going to like force it off and it'll fly across the room. It's kind of fun to watch. So this is kind of, I don't know what you call it, like the elbow, I guess, of it. There's a little teardrop marking on that, so all you do is squeeze. You can just squeeze that teardrop side. Otherwise, I found if you just squeeze the two little pieces where my fingers are together, it runs the formula through really nicely. So I had to speed this way up because, like I said, with the cold formula from being in the fridge, it really slowed down the flow for some reason. So then here I put the cap back on just because when I sort of put the tubing into the pump, it can sometimes drip out of the end and it's just really sticky if it gets on the floor or on the pump. So then we just open the top there. There is like a concave and convex side to this. So there's only one way it'll fit in there. It just takes a little bit to get used to. Then you just stretch that little silicone or rubber part over that black circle and snap it into place, and then snap the lid down until it's locked. This is when normally you would hook the tubing up to Wynn's extension to start his feed, but he was still in bed when I filmed this, so I'll kind of give you a little tour of the buttons here. So in the top left corner is the on-off button. I know it's hard to read. You just push and hold that to turn it on. Wait until the screen stops scrolling. So then I hit the volume total button right in the middle. So that's going to show me, the first one is going to show me how much has gone through in the last feed. If you hit it again, it'll say total, and that's showing you how much went through total, like if you don't clear it out. So I always start every feed by clearing those two numbers, which you just saw me do with the top right clear button. And then below that volume total button, so the bottom middle button, is the rate dose button, and that's where you set the speed and dosage for that particular feeding. The bottom left button there that I'm touching is the run pause button, so it's just like a play pause button. So it'll start and stop the feed. And then that feed int button that I'm touching at the top there, I don't honestly know what that one does. I think it's for continuous feeds. We've just never used it. These buttons I'm touching here are just plus and minus. That's how we change the rate and dose to adjust the speed and dosage for that particular feed. The button I'm touching there, the middle left-hand button, is the prime button. So it's the same thing that I did by squeezing that little rubber elbow on the tubing. This will prime the feed through there if it's already hooked up to the pump. I usually don't use this function to start the first bag of the day because it is a little slower. It just runs the liquid through the tubing slower than what gravity can do. And then normally I would use the run pause button to start Wynn's feed right here, but like I said, he was in bed at the time, so I just turned it back off and kind of tucked it away. So we also had a DME, or durable medical equipment, shipment that had arrived. It actually arrived like a week ago. I just haven't got around to putting it away. We keep it in this little storage shelf thing. I think it's technically like a buffet that I bought on Amazon, but it fits nicely in our front entryway, and it works great for storing all of Wynn's medical supplies and his feeding supplies. So that's pretty much what we use it for, and it looks nice. I like things that don't make it feel like my house is part of a hospital. So that is why we bought this, or I picked this out, I should say. I don't think Stefan really minded the house looking like a hospital, but this made it feel much more homey to me. Okay, so a little tour of this. We have in this top left drawer, we have little dog bones. They're just little stickers that hold his G-tube extensions in place, and then extra G-tube extensions. And then below that, we just have these 60 ml syringes that we use for flushes. So there's just a drawer chock full of those. There's all of our formula. In this little cabinet, we have extra G-tube kits. And behind that, that red little box you're seeing is a pulse ox from the hospital, but we don't really use that anymore. And then here we have all of his pump bags in these two drawers over here. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It just helps my channel grow. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.